The following podcast was recorded live in front of no one. This is Survivor Talk with D&D. This is Dwayne.
This is David.
And we are here to talk about the TV Guide preview show of Survivor One World. So this is podcast 002, our second ever podcast in the history of our podcasting.
I'm so excited.
I know.
So excited.
It's going to be awesome. This is going to be an absolutely great season. This preview show has done nothing but make me even more excited. So,
I can't remember being this excited for Survivor before.
Yeah. So let me just say this real quick. For those who are watching or listening, I should say, on the iTunes Enhanced version, I am going to put the pictures of the players as we speak about them. They will be the artwork. So you'll be able to see the picture of the player while you are listening to the podcast on your iPhone or iOS device. So
which will help you formulate your own opinion.
Yes. And then you can tell us your opinion through feedback and stuff. All right, so let's just start at the top of the show. TV Guide preview of Survivor One World. Host Maria Sansone. What'd you think about Maria?
I could have just had a voiceover. I didn't need any more distractions.
Right. Well, the first thing they did was they talked to Jeff Probst. And this is something that he said that I got a huge kick out of. And this is what he said. He said, "We've toyed around with the idea of putting them on one beach for probably 5 years, and it just was never right until this year when one of our guys came up with the name One World, and we went, that's what we could call it. That would work." And I thought, really? You've been waiting 5 years because you couldn't think of a name?
And they built the whole program around some guy sitting at his desk said, what if we just called it One World?
Yeah. That was interesting.
All the other islands have canceled. We're stuck here on Samoa. It's like the only one place we can go, hey, One World. Hey, let's do another show.
Right. But, so my point is, it is a great idea, but I doubt they've been waiting on the name. It just probably this year was the time they decided to do it. I think it's going to be great.
I feel it's like a reboot. It's almost like a restart of Survivor.
Right.
Brand new people starting just like they did from the very beginning.
Right. I think maybe they thought Redemption Island was going to be like that, and it really didn't take off. And so I think this is going to take off. So
I didn't notice a lot of bad feedback, but I would have bad feedbacked it all day long. I got so tired of that.
The podcast that I listened to, the other podcast I listened to, which I'm going to give a shout out to at the end, they all did not like Redemption Island, and I agree. So then he talked about Tribal Council, and he said that he felt like Tribal Council, the pre-Tribal Council, would be interesting because one group would be figuring out who to vote off and the other would be sitting around watching. But I don't agree with him. I think that the other team is going to get involved, and they're going to go over there like say that the guys, excuse me.
We excuse us for this moment while Dwayne finds his other voice.
That was pretty bad. So let's say that the guys are about to go to the jury. I think the girls aren't going to just sit back and do whatever the girls are doing. I think they're going to get involved in the conversation because I think there's going to be a lot of cross alliances going on.
From the very beginning, there's got to be. That's what's going to influence a lot of my picks for coming up and later on in the podcast. Is the intermingling that's going to start from the beginning. It's got to. That's right. One place, good-looking people. That's what he called them, good-looking people.
Yeah.
So,
which, by the way, we are going to give our picks at the end of this show. We're going to tell our top three, our first outs, and our jury. So we're going to do that at the end. Plus, we each have a crazy theory, so we'll be telling.
And we're doing it at the end because mine will probably change throughout the time of this podcast.
Yeah, mine too. So, all right. The other thing he said is that women flirt and men fall for it. I think he's right. That happens.
Oh, he's so right. And it's going to fall right down. You got to admit to some degree, and maybe our wives will hear this, that women can be a little bit more manipulating than men and more successful at it. And men are just goofballs, and we fall for it. Yeah. That's why we're men and they're women. But I think it's going to happen here, too.
Yeah, women definitely have the upper hand in this as far as, who gets the most out of flirting. The women do. So.
The only man that's got a chance is Jay, the model. Yeah. He's the only one that's got a chance.
He doesn't have to do anything.
He can do it. I know.
He just has to stand there and just pose. All right. Of course, no Redemption Island, yippee. Now, one thing that Jeff Probst did clarify is that about the immunity idols. Number one, there's no clues. And number two, if you find your immunity idol, you get to keep it. If you find the other team's immunity idol, you have to give it to them before the next tribal council.
All right, so you just clarified my next question. See, I didn't hear him say if you find your own, which he said if you find the men's, the women have to give it to them. So there's one distinct man immunity idol, one distinct woman immunity idol. But
Yes.
I didn't hear him say if you find your own, you get to keep it
He
because
did.
they've always been saying that you have to pass it. So that
Nope.
answers my question.
He
Okay, I'll just
specific.
scratch that out.
Yep.
Dwayne paid better attention than I did.
That's right.
Fine,
Well, I
whatever.
did watch it 3 times. He specifically said if you find your own, you get to keep it. If you find the other teams, you have to give it to somebody else on the other team before the next tribal council.
Now he didn't say this while he was talking to the girl that's not even involved with the show, did he? Because I fast forwarded through her through most of the both times that I watched it.
No, it was in his opening interview. In his
Okay.
opening interview stuff.
Well, good.
There you go. So just to clarify for people, we're not going to go into any like how they started the show. They do talk about that, and they talk about how they start the show, and I'm not going to talk about that in case you are a extreme non-spoiler person, and I'm not going to tell you that. One guy does something very bad, but that's all I'm going to say about it. So we're going to go through the people. We've already done a first impressions podcast. That was our first podcast. If you haven't heard that one, feel free to go back. So we will be adding to, or I think there's maybe one person that I said I don't hear anything new about this person. So the first person they talked about was Troy, or Troyzan, and he's a 50-year-old photographer. Already talked about that. What did you write down about Troy? Anything new because of this?
I'll be honest. My impression of him actually improved from his longer interview. His first interview, he sounded kind of arrogant, I'm the jungle man.
Yeah.
Made me think of another coach. But
Right.
the next interview he did, it just reminded me that he has been watching for a while and he's real smart, or he
Right.
says they think he's smart.
Right.
I listened to Jeff's comments more than anything because Jeff is now, he's been an executive producer for a while. So he's got his finger on almost every step of this.
Right.
And I was trying to pick out from him comments. I even told you in a text that we were texting the other day that I was picking up hints from Jeff, but the more I watched it, the more when I was watching it again today, it looked like he was on the first day giving interviews.
Yeah,
so I'm glad. I don't think he gave anything away.
Right.
I think he just gave his honest opinion, which I stole a lot of from my
Right.
thoughts.
Right.
But I got from Troy Zan's longer interview that he could last longer than I initially thought he could.
Really?
That's kind of what I got out of him. I didn't think he's going to be one that shoots his mouth off and gets knocked out like that, which was my very first impression. So he's one of the people that's changed for me. What about you?
Right. Well, I wrote, I don't think raising monkeys is going to do a bit of good to help him on Survivor. I mean, I don't care if you've raised 58 monkeys. I saw Planet of the Apes.
I was about
It
to
ain't
say,
helping.
I saw Clint too. It
It
didn't
ain't-
help me at all.
It ain't helping, man. I do like he's been trying to get on since the first season. I think he's funny. I think people will like him. And the one thing I thought was really funny is he said he's open to love on the island. He didn't use those exact
Oh,
words.
man, he sure did. I
But
wrote
the-
could fall for a woman.
But then what's funny is they do that and then they show Kimberly. And I'm thinking, no, that ain't happening.
Dude, that's almost like a father age difference.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Alicia, maybe, but I don't
But
think.
I'll get something out of the way that's one of my pet peeves of my reality shows. I'm a reality junkie, and from cooking shows to Survivor. But since he's been watching since the first season, I'm so glad that there are people on this show that have been watching and paying attention. It drives me nuts when somebody comes out and says, they come out and say, I've never seen the show before, but I think
I
I
know.
can do okay. I'm like, you got to
Right.
be kidding. Are you
I know.
serious?
I know. This guy's been watching for a long time. So, all right, well, let's go to the next person they talked about was Courtney. Now, with Courtney, my first impression, on our last podcast, I said, I really like this girl. But I'm just telling you, I don't get a good vibe from her. I think she's going to, how she said she's always left when there's trouble situations?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she said, I always leave when there's trouble. I don't think she's going to make it. I think she's going to miss her son. I don't think she's going to last long. I think she's looking for Survivor to change her life, and I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I hope it does for her sake, but I just don't think it. I don't think it will.
I want to remind the listeners, all two of you, that are out there, that like Kathy Lee and Regis Dwayne and I do not talk about this stuff before we podcast because we want to be spontaneous and be as fresh as possible. I got the same exact impression from her. Her stock went down for some reason for me.
Yeah.
She looks like the loner. She looks
Hmm.
like the girl that doesn't huddle up when the girls are going to huddle,
Right.
and she's going to get picked off. Is either
Yeah.
she's going to mess up in the first to challenge, or she's just not going to converse. And if you don't kind of wean your way into a group, you're on the outside of a group. I got the
Yeah.
same impression.
Yeah. So there you go, Courtney. By the way,
There you go, Courtney. I'm sorry.
if you even know who Regis and Kathy Lee are, then I mean that was a long time ago, Dave. That was a long
Come
time.
on, but I remember that.
All right, all right, all right. Now I guess we'll do our
I've
jury
seen the
picks at the end.
reruns.
Next person they talked about was Sabrina, and I liked her even more.
This is scary. Her stock went way up for me. I
Oh, me
was
too.
thinking because I wanted to give an example, but I got to stop thinking that I'm on the island with them. So whether or not I like the people or not, you got to think on the show.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm thinking from 23 seasons how certain people like. This
Hmm.
is somebody I think bond with immediately. I would try to make an alliance with her.
I think I wrote down she will be liked by the tribes, not just her tribe, but the other tribe. I think they're
Right?
gonna like her.
Yeah.
So, and she did my favorite line of the whole show. She said, "There's a kid over there. He looks sweet as pie, but I think he should be on Glee, not Survivor."
And you knew exactly who she was talking about.
And I thought, oh, that is hilarious. How's she going to keep those kind of lines out of the show? Or, I mean, out of, people hearing her say these things? Because that was just so funny. Which, of course, brings us to Colton.
Mr. Cumby.
Since you didn't bite on that line, I just threw
I
at
was
you.
still laughing inwardly.
Yeah, okay. Um, I wrote very simply, I think he's going to talk too much and he's not going to make the jury. That's what I wrote.
Did you read my notes?
No, I didn't.
You know what? I picked him as one of the few people that's going to cross over too soon. And when I say crossover, I mean go talk to the women more than the men.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to make himself an outsider. And his fan talk might be kind of like Cochran, where to the point he talks too much about it.
Right.
So I think he's
Right.
going to alienate himself. I hate to say that, but I think he's going to move over too fast, make that move too soon.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think I'd enjoy being around him. I think he's probably a pretty fun guy to be around. But
Mm-hmm.
I just think he's going to talk too much. It's going to get annoying. And it is a
Yep.
huge social game, and you just got to be careful. You can't always be yourself 100% on Survivor. You got to adapt. So,
And he doesn't look like an athlete. Hey, I'm sorry.
well,
Nothing
no.
to do with his Southern Republicanness. He just doesn't come across. Did you watch him on the balance beam?
That
I was
makes no
just waiting for him to
sense.
fall.
That makes no sense.
trying to-
His Southern Republicanness, that
Goodness.
makes absolutely no sense. All Southern Republicans are not athletes. Is that what you're trying to say? You are so
Yeah.
wrong. So we're gonna go on to Jonas, 37. I wrote, okay, this Jonas, passive, too cautious, doesn't lie well, is not gonna fit in, no jury.
I'm pretty similar with that. My stock did go down with him,
Yeah.
but he can't lie. I think he's going to think he can be a provider, and I think he's probably going to fail. Because
Yeah.
when people try to stand up and say, "I'll get the fish," they come back with nothing,
Right.
and somebody else walks out and grabs a fish out of the water.
Right.
So, but he just didn't come across to me as a planner, just
Right.
somebody that was going to make big strategic plans like these other guys that kind of got on my nerves after a while. But
Yeah. I just think he'll
yeah,
just
he's. I won't say where I got him, but he's borderline what you were just talking
Yeah,
about.
well, I mean, I just think he's going to be too quiet. He's going to be too passive. He's going to be easy to vote off. You know what I'm saying? When all the
Couldn't
guys
agree
are
more.
sitting there talking and he's over there, cooking up rice or something, they're going to go,
Trying to make
"Let's-
some sushi.
yeah, we're going to vote him off."
Yep.
All right, then next we have Monica. This is the NFL player's wife. My stock for Monica went up. How about you?
Afraid we disagree on this one, brother.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
you go first then, so that way they can hear the better opinion last.
I
ahead.
got. I'm just going to move on because I don't know what you're talking about. I think she's going to come across as a mother hen. She seems like she could fit in. Here's what I wrote. She could. But if it comes to this is me thinking back 23 seasons. If it comes to a young versus old, I think she's going to get picked out. But I mean, physically, she's supposed to be one of the best in shape people there, even according
Right.
to Jeff.
Right.
But I think she's going to turn motherish, and because she's a mother, I mean, she's not a 20-year-old anymore. She's a mother, and that's what she's been. I don't know. That's just the vibe I get from guessing,
Yeah.
because all we're doing is guessing.
Right. Well, I put she's very fit. I think she's going to do really well out there, and I think she's going to do really well in the challenges. I don't think she really looks 41. I mean, I guess technically she looks 41, but she just doesn't have that same 41-year-old vibe that some of the other 41-year-olds have had on the show. She seems very on top of it to me. I think that she'll do well if she's not pushed out by the young girls. If
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Yeah,
if the young girls will just embrace her, then I think she'll do well. But if they decide it's a young girls game, then her days are numbered.
yeah. She doesn't look
So
41. I'll give her that much.
no, she doesn't. She
She
doesn't.
fits right in.
Yeah,
But
yeah. All right, next we move on to Matt, the lawyer. Matt the lawyer. What do you think about Matt the lawyer?
well, he's going to play as Mr. Ho Hum,
Yeah,
but
that ain't
I
gonna
think
work.
he's a bully. I think he's condescending, and I'll say more about him later when we
He's
talk about our picks.
all right. Well, then I'll tell you what I put. I don't think he's going to be able to keep up the charade. I think his pride's going to get in the way, and he's not going to be able to handle people thinking that he's what he's trying to present himself as. I think he's too overconfident and arrogant. So, I mean, that's just the way he comes across. He may not be in real life, but he said, "I'm not a good follower," and I think that's gonna mean that he's going to be annoyed very quickly because he wants to lead. He wants to get his opinion out there, and so I think he will annoy quickly. But I don't think he'll go off the show too soon because they'll want to keep him for challenges. I mean, look at him. You know,
Yeah,
he's got what 2% body fat. So
but people on the island have done stupid things before, so
yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, since you don't have anything else to say about him, I'll talk
not yet.
about I'll talk about Kimberly. I think they're going to call her Kimberly. It's both ways, Kimberly and Kim. And I wrote I still like her. She was my second favorite, if you remember from before.
Uh-huh.
I especially like how much she enjoys the outdoors. She even said, "Now that I'm out here, I just remember how much I love it, love being out here." She was whitewater raft guide and stuff like that. But what's new is I didn't know she was a communications major. I didn't remember that from before, if she said it before. Loves watching awkward situations. I think she's going to do really well.
I
So,
don't. I just from watching the little short clips that we got, I kept asking myself, why is she still so dressed up? Why is she still so? Everybody's already gone to their flirt bikinis. She's still in her long sack that she was wearing and her big 5-inch earrings and stuff. I'm like, why is she still? She looks like an outsider. She almost looks like she just doesn't fit in. Like she's
okay.
standing back, watching these situations. Maybe she's going to be a pot stirrer to bring up the awkward situations, which I understand. I mean, maybe she's one to cause trouble, but I don't know. I liked her too, but just the more I watched it, the more she kind of stood off too much to me. I don't know.
Okay.
My vibe.
All right. All right. Let's look at Alicia.
Alicia,
Alicia.
attitude.
Alicia.
Let's see, mouthy. Can
Yep.
she be trusted? Thinks she has appeal. Easily gets annoyed, which could come back to bite her.
Yep.
So I think she'll do well though because she's willing to talk to anybody and she's willing to flirt and use that appeal. At the same time, she's got to watch what she says in front of who. It's all in who you get with and what you say in front of the wrong person.
Right. Well, I wrote easily annoyed. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Um, I think she's going to get upset. I think she's going to upset people quickly. I don't think. I think she's going to stand out so much that she's going to be a
Yeah.
big target, and she's going to be too loud and obnoxious, and people are going to not like her loudness. But I don't think she can tone it down. I mean, I think if she's your friend and you live around her and you're used to her personality, that's cool. But I think on Survivor Island, that may not go over too well.
I think she'll be somebody that spends more time on the men's side than the women's side.
Well, I don't know because I think the men are going to be annoyed by her too. I mean,
But they
seriously.
can't vote her out though.
I mean, she's not as pretty as she thinks she is. I mean, she's not ugly, but I don't think she's as hot as she says she is.
But she could be the one they give the idol to first just to make her get on their side. But who knows? Just guess.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't. Poor girl, I don't even have her on the jury. So there you go. All right, now we got Greg. Oh, Greg. Oh, what to say about Greg?
Poor Greg, man, he must take a shot in the first episode because he's got a big
I
old knot under his
know.
eye. I'm like,
I
you're gonna need that
know.
plastic surgery. Can you do it to yourself?
Golly, I know. Yeah, well, okay, but I don't think he's going to be able to keep his mouth shut. I think he's going to be just talking too much about what he knows and things like that, and he's not going to be able to keep his mouth shut.
Well, I agree with Jeff. He's always right, and he's too smart, overconfident. But the thing that stood out for me with him was he likes Coach, and if he's going to try and play like Coach, there's only one Coach.
Yeah, well,
And if he's going to play like Coach, then I think they're going to pick him out and knock him out quick.
right. Well, now he didn't say he was going to play like him. He just said that he liked honorable men.
Yeah, but I think if you like somebody like Coach, then you're gonna try and be like Coach, not just like him, but like him.
All right. Well, next on the show, the host painted and played a game, and we're not going to talk about that because
Thank you.
okay. And then I will say this though, it did open my eyes a little bit to how much work is involved in getting those things
No
taken
kidding.
care of. I
And
mean,
they
all
put
that.
a lot of work into it. That's
Oh
a lot
my
of
God.
detail.
I mean, I honestly thought they were real skulls on stuff, and it's just plastic with aged and stuff. I mean,
Oh, Dwayne.
why not go dig up a skull?
It's in there. Because then, excuse me while he has this moment. Because then they'd be on burial grounds and playing on cemeteries,
All right,
digging
okay.
out caves.
All right, so maybe if I thought that through, I wouldn't have ever really thought that. But they look so real.
And it gave them a good laugh.
That's right.
There
Okay,
you go, listeners. You're
tribal
welcome.
council. They talked about tribal council. It'll be over water. I think that's pretty cool.
That's pretty. They probably. I hope they show that because that did look
Yeah.
pretty neat when he showed it.
Took them 2 months to build it, and I think Probst seemed a little enamored with
security.
the host.
Job
So,
security. Yeah.
Did
Well,
did you?
he's also all over the show now. Like we said before, man, he's into everything.
Yeah, but did you
You
hear
know?
what I said?
Yes, I did.
I think
I'm
he's
skipping right over that.
really. You didn't.
He's married.
Oh, is he? Oh, well then
Yes.
he's not enamored with the host. He was just being a gracious host.
He can
So,
still be enamored,
yeah, really.
but he's
Kinda,
married.
it's kind of hard to hide that sometimes, isn't it? So, all right. Well, then they move on to Leaf, and she couldn't help but use some kind of pun play on his little person status by saying he's going to make a big impact or something like that. So, and I just thought, really, you're going to go there? I mean, why? Why not just?
My
All right.
thoughts on him didn't really change.
I learned nothing new on him at all.
I put a lot unknown.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
But I do think he's going to do well. But I think it's going to. I don't think he's well. I'll finish that later. I think he's going to do well.
Okay.
But I don't know anything about him.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't get anything more out of
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
I'm
really,
gonna call TV Guide next after I call Jeff.
Yeah, right.
So
All right, next we have Christina, and she's an avid watcher, understands it's a social game. I think this is going to help her because she understands it's a social game, and she says she's good socially. You know, that's what she says. But people that don't understand it's a social game don't do well, and she does. So
I will be surprised how far she goes. She thinks she'll be a villain. Really? You're gonna go on the show thinking you're gonna be a villain?
did she say that, or did they say
Yes,
that?
she said that. She said, you could probably call me a villain.
Oh,
You could
okay.
probably consider me a villain.
All right.
My funny part from her was she's a travel journalist.
Yes.
So she eats and travels a lot. So she's looking to enhance the food, not just have plain fish.
Well,
have something a little more. What does she think she's going to find out there? Is there a spice rack on the tree somewhere?
I don't. Well, but maybe she knows how to do that kind of stuff because she deals with that stuff in her magazines. So
I see a pan flipping over into the sand and dinner being lost and her being voted out.
all right, I think she's gonna probably do something with the food that they've never seen before, and they'll probably like it. She'll find a way to spice up rice.
I would bet against that.
All
That's
right.
our bet. Fine.
I ain't betting you nothing. All right. Next person, the guy that looks just like me. It's amazing how much he looks like me.
We've
Right?
already talked about Greg.
No, we're talking about Jay. Okay, so he doesn't really look like me. It's just in my mind. Jay, the more I watch Jay, the more I like him. I like him more than I did before. He's a polite, southern, quiet gentleman, and I think he's going to stay around. Everybody's going to like him.
Agree, agree.
All right, there we
I
go.
got good vibes from Jay. I didn't in the beginning, but I did
No,
after this interview.
no, I remember in the first podcast you were like, if I'm supposed to be able to gain some knowledge from these videos, I didn't get any from him, and you were right. But this, much different. So anyway,
Yeah,
I
his
like
stock
Jay.
went up, up, up.
Like Jay a lot. All right, next we have Chelsea, my favorite of all of them. Very confident, but not arrogant. She's a tomboy, likable. She's fit, loves the outdoors. I think she's going to do really well.
I agree. She can stop talking about Jeff, though. You don't need to talk about the host and his dimples. But
Yeah.
the tomboy thing actually made her stock go up, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And just watching her on the video, she looked like she fit in,
Yep.
and that was just looked like somebody that would last in a game for a while.
Right.
Not, I mean, you got to be able to talk to both sides, because eventually you're going to be working with the guys too.
Yep.
And I thought she looked like she fit in that way.
Yep. So I think she's going to do well. Then next on the show, Samoa had a special event when they drank something that made Jeff happy.
Fast forward.
Yes, yes.
Another person. Here we go.
Well, no. I do want to say that what it did show me was that the show and Samoa have a really good relationship.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that may be one of the reasons why Survivor's staying at Samoa, because they've just got a really good thing going here. So, just a little side note. All right, we can talk about Nina. I think they cast Nina because they needed someone who was going to get voted off, to be honest with you. I mean, I like Nina. I'm sure she's a great person, but I don't think she's going to blend in with anybody. You know?
Yeah. I don't either. She kind of stands out like the sixth finger.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't get much new out of her except that she's out to prove something, and people like that usually don't last very long.
Yeah. So, and then of course, she tells the story about. Well, I don't remember what she told the story about.
She told the story about getting rolled over in this SWAT application.
Yeah.
And that did not. If she tells that story on the beach, she's going to get pushed to the other fire. I'm like, don't bring your sad stories here. This is a completely different world. Let's play. But yeah, that kind of. I hope she doesn't talk about that at the beach.
But see, she will, because that's what she talks about. She's going to talk about that. Right. If it was important enough to talk about it to TV Guide channel and to all those people, then she's going to talk about it there. So I don't think
she's
that's
still bearing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so Nina, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but I think you're going to be off pretty quickly. All right, then we have Bill, funny, likable Bill. Bill reminds me of my middle son. He will be well liked at the camp. He can fit in. Yeah, he can fit in with anybody. It doesn't matter what the group. He can fit in with anybody. And I just think he's going to be one of those guys that they're not even going to consider voting off because they just love having him around so much.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, you don't agree with me?
Well, I don't know. I think that could play against him too. But even this is one of the ones where I thought I picked up something from Jeff when he said he could turn left, he could turn right, and fit in. I don't know. It all depends. You get out there and suddenly you're without water and food. You could turn into a different person. But he's got the training to stay out there and last. So
well, yeah.
I don't know. I get a weird feeling about Bill. I don't know why. I don't know why because I haven't seen any episode.
I don't know why either because I think he's going to go far. So, all right. Next we have Kat. Are we going to say anything about Kat?
I don't know how well she'll do because she admitted she would not make the big move, but she didn't want to be too weak. She's obviously watched the game. She wants to be in the middle, but of course she didn't really breathe when she talked either. So,
yeah. I don't think she's going to last long. I think she has to talk. She just can't not talk, and I think she's going to talk herself right out of the game.
I could see that too, just from the interview.
Yeah,
I agree.
Now, the guy that I think actually wants to be cast as a villain is Michael. I mean, I almost get the feeling. I mean, he's cocky. I think he's used to getting his way. I will say that. I think he's used to getting his way, and he's not going to like it when he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually my stock went up for him from the
Uh-oh.
interview.
See?
Somehow, I think he's going to find a way to build something to last longer than you might think.
Yeah.
Just my thought. I
Okay.
don't know, but I didn't get much else other than what we already knew.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay. Well, the next thing they did was they did a practice challenge, which we're not going to really talk about that, and they did an immunity first look, which was nothing more than people jumping. So that's basically all that was.
Yeah, the immunity challenge just proved that even a host could do the immunity challenge. Of course, she was
Yes,
all rested and ready to go. So
that's right. All right, so it's time for us to pick our first off guy and our first off girl. So how about you do your first off guy first?
my first off guy is the guy, Mr. Ho Hum. I think it was a toss up for me between him and Tarzan, but I think Tarzan's going to catch on quick that he needs to shut up.
You're talking about Greg.
And talking about Greg, yeah, I think he's going to catch on to last a little bit longer. But I think, like you said, Matt's not going to be able to be Mr. Ho Hum for long. I think his condescending is going to come out, and I think they're going to say, you know what, even though we lost this challenge, because they'll have had to have lost the challenge to vote him out, but
Uh-huh.
even though we lost, I think we can beat the girls. I can't stand this guy anymore. Let's get him out. I
All
think
right.
Matt's going to be the first one off for the men.
That is crazy. I have Matt on the jury. How about that for we obviously did.
That's the difference.
There you go. My first off guy is Greg. I don't think he's going to fit in at all, and I think he's going to be an easy vote off for those guys. I think Matt's going to be. I don't think they're going to vote Matt off because, well, it doesn't matter what I think about that. That's who you chose. But I think Greg definitely first one off, first
I
guy off.
actually had Greg this morning when
Yes.
I was at work, supposed to be working. I had Greg, and then I flopped to Matt after I watched the interviews again.
Yes.
And then before the podcast, I went back to Greg.
All
And
right.
then right before we started, I flopped again. So I'm
All right,
flip-flop.
but you chose Matt.
I
So
chose
everyone in podcast world, I chose Greg. David chose Matt. All right, now for the girl. First off, girl.
your
I
first.
chose Nina. I've already said I don't think she's going to fit in. I think she's going to be an easy vote off.
And I think you're wrong.
Of course you do. What do you think?
Just for the podcast world, I think it's going to be Courtney.
Courtney.
I think they're going to flub in a challenge, and Nina's going to be physically able to keep up in the challenge. So will Monica. And I think it's going to be Courtney who stands out, unfortunately, because she seems like a nice girl, but I just don't think she's going to fit in with that group. And I think what you said, exactly. She's going to miss home. It's going to come out like the first night they have to sleep in the rain or out in the
All
dark.
right.
And it's going to, I just think they're going to say, okay, you're going home.
All right. Well, I mean, I could see that happening. I mean, if she just totally blew the first challenge somehow, then I mean, that's anybody could have that happen. So
Yeah.
All right. So I chose Nina, and you chose Courtney.
So you want to do the rest of our offs before the jury? Because we're going to end up doing them all anyway.
Well,
once you
I
do a
don't
jury.
really have my offs listed. I just have who's top three and who's on the jury. So how
Okay.
about we do our jury first?
Okay.
All right.
Jury time.
All right. So I'm just going to start with, I think Courtney's going to make the jury.
Well, that would conflict with what I've said
Yes, it would.
because I've got Nina on the jury.
Who?
I've got her, Nina. I've got her lasting that
Do
long.
you really?
On the jury. I really do.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you have Nina on the jury.
Have you ever watched the show before?
No, David.
Today.
No, no. All right, my next person on the jury, not in this order, just the next person I have. I have Leaf on the jury. I have
That would
Leaf
be
making the jury. Do you have Leaf on the
agreement.
jury?
I sure do.
All right, good. I have.
I have Leaf as the last jury member. I'll even go
Really? You think he's fourth?
number 4.
Oh, I so don't think he's fourth.
I do.
No, no.
I
All right, tell me someone else you have on the jury.
I have Troy, also called Troyzan,
I do too.
on the jury. Like I said, his stock went up, and I hope he does even better than the jury. But I have him at least on the jury.
Yeah. All right. Another person I have on the jury is Michael.
Agreed.
Believe it or not.
Even though you don't like him, I
Well,
think he's going to do okay. I don't think he's going to be in the top part of the jury.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go early, but I agree.
yeah.
Michael on
I just don't think he'll be one of the first three guys off, so he has to make the jury.
agreed.
You know? I mean,
Unless they lose all the challenges and there's 4 guys gone.
well, true. All right, then tell me someone else you have on the jury.
I have Bill, Mr. Bill Posley, on the jury.
I do not have Bill on the jury.
You don't?
No, I don't.
Actually, I was a toss between him and Jonas. And you know what? I might change my mind for the end of the show, but going on past episodes, it's
Yeah.
just, it's tough. But if I have to choose, I'll pick Bill.
All right, so you have Bill on the jury. All right, how about Christina? I have Christina on the jury.
I do too.
All right.
That was a tough one, but yes.
Yeah. Do you have Monica on the jury? I do.
Just barely, but yes, I do. On the jury.
Wow, we're pretty close. I also have Matt on the jury.
And I obviously do not.
Oh, we'll see why in just a minute. I have Sabrina on the jury.
I do not.
You do not. You must think she's
not.
going to win or something. All right, so tell me someone else you have on the jury then.
Let's see. Alicia.
Alicia.
I think
really?
Alicia. I think she'll make it that far.
Oh, I don't have her on the jury at all.
And I think that's all my jury people I gave you.
I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of your jury people, and you should have 9.
Oh, Monica? You have Monica?
Yes, I do. I have Alicia. This is your jury as of right now.
Okay.
I have Alicia, Bill, Troy, Monica, Christina, Michael, Leaf, and Nina.
Okay, that's good, but you've got me bouncing all over my page, so I can't tell the list. Okay, let's do my list.
All right.
I've got Leaf and Alicia, Nina, Troy, Monica. Oh, Kat. I have Kat on the jury.
Kat. I do not have Kat on the jury.
Oh, well then where can she be?
I don't know, but my last person on the jury is Kimberly.
I do not have Kimberly on the jury.
All right, so my jury list is Kimberly, who I think is going to be 4th place.
And this will be on the website, so you can vouch for us later when he posts it.
Oh, great! Now I got to post this on the web. Okay, great. Yes, this will be on the Survivor Talk with D&D website. Great.
Proof.
Yes. So I have Kimberly, Sabrina, Matt, Troy, Monica, Christina, Michael, Leaf, and Courtney. Since I'm putting it on the website, why do I need to do it real slow? So our top 3. Here it comes. Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. My
we're
third place.
Together. We're 2 together, but go ahead.
My 3rd place winner, 3rd place, is Jay.
Ding, 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 ding.
Is that you have 3rd?
Yes, I have 3rd.
Oh, wow. Okay. My 2nd place is Bill.
Bill,
the funny guy.
Oh my gosh, no.
Oh my gosh, yes.
No.
All right, so Bill is 2nd place for me. Who's your 2nd place?
Chelsea.
Chelsea
is 2nd.
All right. Who's your 1st place?
My choice for winner of season 24, Survivor One World in Samoa, hosted by Jeff Probst.
Yeah, we got all that.
I know. Sabrina.
Sabrina
Thompson. It sure is. I think those people skills from walking through the hood's going to get her through. And those are her words.
Wow. You think Sabrina's going to win?
Mine. She said that, not me.
Wow. Okay, I have Chelsea winning it all. But to be honest with you, I have her winning it all because I want her to win it all. I really think Bill has a better chance of winning it all. But
yeah.
I have Chelsea winning it all. So there you go.
See, that's the tough part. Who we want to win, who we're going to pull for,
Hello.
who we think can win.
Hello.
And all that kind of crazy stuff.
All right, so now I get to update all this on the website tonight. All right, yeah. No sleep for me.
So I had a thought that I think we're due this season for someone to leave with an injury.
Oh, do you really? Is this your crazy theory?
This is my crazy theory.
This is your crazy theory.
I think somebody's going to leave because of an injury. I don't know when, who, or where, but we're due. We've had some really smooth runs for Survivor lately, and it's been a while since we've had a major injury or leave requiring injury. So my crazy theory this year is that someone's going to leave with an injury.
No.
What?
Who is going to leave with an injury? It can't be someone you says in the jury. You said Leaf.
No, I didn't say Leaf.
Oh, who do you think is going to leave with the injury? You can't just say someone's going to leave. That's too broad. Come on, man. This is crazy theory time.
Right,
put your name on it.
Give me a minute to think about it.
Give you a minute to think about it? Seriously?
Dude, you said crazy theory. You didn't say who inside the crazy theory. But I will tell you my other.
All right, go ahead.
Crazy theory.
All right, other half.
I don't think there's going to be a merge.
Well, okay, that's
I
not so crazy, David. They're already merged.
Exactly. There won't be an official merge. One day he'll say, "All right, now you're playing for yourself."
So I said, let's do crazy theory, and you thought, let's do obvious theory. All right, I'm sorry, David. I'm sorry.
That was that was just funny to make time so I could think about who's going to get
Yeah,
hurt.
okay. So,
So now I'm
well,
cursing somebody by telling them they're going to get hurt.
all right. Well, I'm just saying it doesn't really become
You know
a
what would be the
crazy
worst?
theory. What?
If she fits in, but because she's the sentimental choice to keep playing, if like Courtney got hurt and had to leave, that would be sad, being the mom and everything. I don't know.
Well, it's obviously one of the. Okay, so you didn't really have anybody in mind when you said that. You just
No, I
think
didn't.
someone's going to get
But
hurt.
her getting hurt or Bill, because I like Bill too. Him getting hurt for him being the Afghan veteran and stuff. That would be horrible if he got hurt.
All right.
Just he should have a good chance. So, no, I don't want to go on the record as to who, because if that person gets hurt, they'll find me and hurt me. So
Okay. You're assuming a lot. You're
I'm
assuming they're
assuming a lot.
listening to this. So if I was on this show, I would be listening to every podcast there was, but, you know, that doesn't mean anything. My
So have
crazy
a
theory. Are you ready
thank you.
for my crazy theory?
Hold on, let me sit down.
You need to sit
Okay.
down. You're already
I'm,
sitting down. I can see you.
okay.
Jonas. Okay, you got Jonas's picture there, right? You see Jonas.
More than I need to, but go ahead.
Jonas and Alicia and Alicia. Jonas and Alicia are going to form an alliance on day one, and they will become inseparable.
These aren't crackpot theories. These are just crazy theories, right?
It's crazy. Yes, that's the whole
You're like
idea.
so far out there.
That's the whole idea. It's a crazy theory. It's not a this has a 90% chance of happening.
Okay, maybe we should have talked about this before we got into the podcast.
Well, I did, but that's okay. That's all right.
I can't even put their pictures together with the papers pushing away. And you think those two are going to come up with a theory? My papers are pushing away from each other with these two pictures.
All right, so
They
that
don't even look like they're on the same island. They're pictures.
so that's my crazy theory. Just imagine there's going to be like, Michael Bolton playing in the background, and Jonas and Alicia are going to be walking along the beach. There's going to be that awkward moment that Kimberly likes, the awkward moment. There's going to be that awkward moment where Jonas kind of, do I reach over and hold her hand? Okay, maybe not, but still.
But that brings up a great point in who's going to be the first to make an alliance? Who's going to be, and who would you want? Okay, let me ask you a question since we're only a few minutes into this podcast. We still got hours to go.
We're almost
If you
done.
were first on this island,
Oh my gosh, what?
not first on this island, if you were in this game
Mm-hmm.
with who we know about who, which is not very much, and you could make an alliance with one person from each team, obviously you'd make a man alliance, and then maybe if you could sneak and make a female alliance, who would you make it with?
Well, I picked my two winners, Bill and Chelsea.
Bill and you would?
Yeah.
No. See, I would probably pick Jay, and I would probably pick Sabrina.
Okay.
Just a thought. I don't know. I think Bill's going to start talking too much, trying to make too many people laugh after a while. I don't know. Just a crazy crackpot theory. Not as crazy as Jonas and Alicia, but hey, it's working.
All right, so everybody, that is our podcast. I believe we have gone through the entire show.
Probably more than it needed to be done. But
That's right. I want to make a quick shout out to the three podcasts that made me want to do this. David and I our families were vacationing together over Christmas, and I said, David, I love listening to the Survivor podcast, and we love talking about it. Why don't we do one? So I just want to give a shout out to the three podcasts that I listen to. Survivor Fans Podcast, great podcast. They do 3 episodes a week. It's pretty awesome. And then Talking About Survivor is the podcast that kind of made me think that David and I could actually do this, because it's just two friends talking, and it's not really like super high production value. It's just,
that's just us.
Right. You can hear Christiana's dog barking in the background and stuff like that. It's real. It's real. It's just a conversation. I really like it. Probably one of the best produced podcasts out there is The Tribe. Now, don't listen to it if you don't listen to it with your kids, but it's a great. It's also a good one. So those are the 3 podcasts that I really enjoy listening to. And again, Survivor Fans Podcast I listen to with my kids most of the time talking about Survivor you can listen to with your kids. The Tribe I wouldn't listen to with your kids. So those are the 3 podcasts that I really enjoy listening to. So I wanted to give them a shout out. I doubt they'll ever give me a shout out because they don't know I exist. But still, I
I'll
know
give
they
you one.
exist. I know they
Give a
exist.
shout out to Dwaine. I think
There
he
you
does
go.
a great job because he set all this up. So I give him all the credit. And to Uncle Seth for giving us their awesome music.
That's right. The
To
music
use.
for Survivor Talk with D&D is To Be an Angel by Uncle Seth. You can leave feedback on our blog, survivortalkwithdnd.com, or on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com Survivor Talk with D&D.
Ooh,
Or,
what a catchy name.
I know. Or you can leave us email at feedback@survivortalkwithdnd.com. And on all of those, the and is spelled out. So I think that's all I got. How about you, bud?
That's all I got, man. So
All right.
if something really major comes out, we'll do another one. Otherwise, February 15th.
It's the first show, and we will try to record on Thursday night. If not, we will definitely record on Friday nights. Our goal is to always have our podcast out by Saturday morning at the latest, hopefully Friday morning.
Works for me.
All right, man. So everybody, you have a wonderful night or day, whatever time it is when you're listening to us, and thank you for listening. Talk to you later. Bye.
See you.